You ever come back from a vacation thinking you're finally gonna get a little peace? Maybe even walk through your front gate with a new sense of zen, and instead you walk straight into a war zone you didn't even know you'd signed up for. Yeah, that was me, still smelling like sunscreen and Hawaiian flowers, stepping off the plane at Reagan National, feeling good for the first time in months. I had my touristy lei still draped around my neck like some kind of medal, my red shirt rumpled from too many hours in coach, and I was just ready to get home and avoid thinking about anything stressful, especially my neighbor Delilah Crowthorne, the queen of passive-aggressive suburbia. So picture this: my Uber driver Tony is giving me his whole life story as we turn onto my street. Magnolia Ridge Drive, where the lawns are manicured and the gossip's even sharper. But right as he's telling me about the worst hotel he ever stayed in, he slams the brakes points at my house and goes, "Man, something's up with your gate." I look, and there it is. My beautiful century-old iron gate, with some slick digital smart lock bolted right in the center, flashing "password required" in angry red letters like it's the entry to Fort Knox. I drop my bags on the sidewalk and just stand there, because I know there's no way this is some city project or HOA upgrade. The cement's still fresh around the mounting bolts. Somebody did this on purpose while I was gone, and of course the universe being what it is, that's the exact moment I hear the one sound I've come to dread more than anything else: Delilah's laugh, high sharp and carrying across the yard like a bad omen. She's standing on her perfect lawn in a cream-colored blazer and slacks, arms crossed, hair in that manager-ready bob just radiating smugness. "Well, well, well," she calls out. "Look who's back from paradise. Did you bring me a souvenir?" Then, with a grand gesture, "Because I left you one." Now, let me back up a sec. My name's Terrence Duke. 34, never been arrested, software engineer. Just a guy who bought his dream house 3 years ago. And this gate. It's been here since the 20s, original to the property, one of those selling points you brag about to your friends. But Delilah. Oh, she has her own ideas. "Technically, half that gate's on my property," she says like she's reciting from some villain's script, which means I can secure it however I see fit. I can feel the eyes of the whole neighborhood curtains twitching, folks with their phones out ready to catch the latest drama. And this woman, after 3 years of complaints about my grass, my music, even my trash cans, has the audacity to say she's just protecting property values from certain elements. Yeah, that word, elements, wasn't lost on me. 3 years of sideways glances and clutching purses now out in the open. I'm barely keeping it together, demanding she unlock my gate when she leans in close and drops her voice. "Your place is wherever I say it is," she whispers. Then, because apparently suburbia runs on TV-level drama, she spits in my face. I mean, full on, like she's marking her territory, and something in me just snaps. Next thing I know, we're both on the ground. Her blazer, grass-stained, my anger boiling over 3 years' worth of petty harassment. The next act. Sirens. Police. And Delilah flipping the script, crying assault, telling the cops I tackled her out of nowhere, playing the victim for all she's worth. It's like the whole street's out recording, whispering, waiting to see who comes out on top. The cops, one clearly over it, the other, Officer Williams, sharp as a tack, try to sort it out while Delilah spins tales about my supposed pattern of aggressive behavior. Mrs. Patterson from across the street jumps in, saying she's heard things too, music, strange visitors. Suddenly, it's not just Delilah versus me, it's the whole block, airing 3 years of grievances like I'm on trial. But here's the twist. Officer Williams wants to see proof about the property line, so Delilah runs off and comes back with a survey she got while I was gone. She's got paperwork highlighted and everything. My stomach drops because I never did my own survey. But just as Delilah is basking in her moment, Williams points out that you can't block someone's driveway without consent, shared property or not. That's when Delilah goes nuclear, accusing me of stealing her garden gnomes, insisting she's the real victim. Officer Williams isn't buying it, and when I mention my security cameras, Delilah starts sweating. The footage doesn't lie, it shows her spitting on me clear as day right before I snap. The officers watch, then let me know I'm not being charged. Delilah, on the other hand, gets told to remove the lock or face legal trouble herself. You could practically see her calculating her next move as she stalked away. You'd think that'd be the end, but no. 3 days later, I get a certified letter from the HOA summoning me to a hearing for multiple violations. The board is packed, Delilah leading the charge with color-coded folders and graphs spinning her usual web of nonsense. My loud parties, my unapproved cameras, even a dip in property values blamed on me. I counter with police reports, city inspections, video clips showing that nearly every complaint was baseless. And then, just when I think I've dodged the last bullet, the real kicker hits Delilah, as board secretary should have recused herself. The board sides with me, throws out the complaints, and boots her from the hearing for a conflict of interest. Victory, right? Except Tom Martinez. My neighbor warns me, Delilah's not done. She's talking to lawyers about property lines and easements. The lawsuit comes a week later, 43 pages, accusing me of encroaching on her land, seeking over $100,000 in damages and demanding I stop using part of my driveway. I hire a lawyer, Margaret Chen, who tells me this is classic legal extortion. She knows she won't win, but she'll bleed me dry with legal fees. Now here's the part nobody saw coming. I hire a PI, Jake Morrison, and he digs up the real dirt. Delilah's been a professional neighborhood harasser for years, multiple lawsuits, all frivolous. But more importantly, he finds out she's being bankrolled by Pinnacle Development Group, a company that wants to buy up our block for a new shopping center. Delilah's not just a nightmare neighbor. She's on the payroll gathering info, filing complaints, trying to push me and anyone who supports me out so the developers can swoop in and buy cheap. Word gets out. More neighbors start finding code violations in their mailboxes, all clearly orchestrated to isolate me. We band together, me. Tom, Sarah, Chen, Mrs. Patterson, deciding we'll fight this as a group. And just when Delilah and her developers think they've got us beat, my PI finds the smoking gun. Internal memos from Pinnacle outlining their plan to pressure resistant homeowners and target demographic isolation factors. My address front and center. The story blows up local news, then CNN reporters camped on my front lawn. Delilah dodging questions. Blackwood, the developer CEO, scrambling to control the narrative. Meanwhile, Margaret contacts the FBI. By the time we get to court, the judge is already fed up with the spectacle. Pinnacle's lawyers bring out every trick, fancy charts, dramatic speeches. Margaret, though, lays out the pattern, Delilah's complaints, Pinnacle's payments, the wider campaign against minority homeowners. Judge orders an independent survey and opens an investigation. Next thing I know, the FBI is swarming Pinnacle for civil rights violations. Neighbors are coming forward with stories of harassment, and Delilah, seeing which way the wind's blowing, cuts a deal and turns state's evidence. Pinnacle's CEO resigns their stock tanks. Delilah moves out of state, and our block keeps its zoning safe for now. So yeah, I got my driveway back. The gate is unlocked, the lawn's a little greener, and when folks stop by to ask about that whole crazy story, I just laugh and tell them the good guys won. Sometimes being a good neighbor means standing your ground, even if it means fighting a war you never asked for. What do you think, was I right to push back? Or did I just stir up more trouble for everyone? Let me know where you stand, because honestly, in a neighborhood like this, your voice matters more than you might think.